We are the Hadricks, Don and Artie, artist Hadrick. We are here to tell a little bit of the story of how we got connected to the Missionary Sisters of St. Benedict through their founder, Jadwiga Kulesh. And it's quite a story. We're very excited about it, and we've been excited telling it to everyone at home and here in Poland. The story begins pretty much in 1997 or 1998. At that time, I had received a Fulbright scholarship to teach in Charles University in Prague in the Czech Republic. And as part of my application, I said that I would like to explore my family history a little bit. The story really begins with our efforts to do that. The family history that I had in mind was that my great-great-grandfather, who emigrated to the United States in the Chicago area in 1880s, was a fascinating figure to us. The family talked about his background in Poland, where he came from. That he was a university student in Poznan, may have been a radical student. We even had a picture of him in a Cossack uniform. We wanted to find out in Poland if there was any records that connected with him. And we'll get to how we connected with Jadwiga in a moment. But while we were there, we had some letters from the family that we had brought, and some others were sent to us. And my wife, do you want to tell about noticing what you noticed in the letters?
Well, we had tried to find out about the great-great-grandfather in Poznan, and there were no records. We kept hitting dead ends and no information. So I sat down and reread the letters. And I noticed that one of the letters mentioned that there was one of his sisters was a nun in a convent. And I said maybe the convent would be more likely to have records about her and where she was born, and we could trace the great-great-grandfather that way. So then you had a student who spoke Polish, and he made some phone calls for us, and I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
Yes, this Polish student at Charles University helped us out, and we made several calls to Poland, and finally got in touch with a convent in Przemysl, which is where we had identified that she was from, or
where she was a nun.
Where she was a nun. So we managed to get through to the convent. And the student asked a person at the convent, do you know of a Jadwiga Kulesh? And the person on the other end of the line said, yes, we certainly do, and you should call this number in Otwoc and talk to the convent there. So the Polish student called the convent here, where we stand now at this moment, and they said, really quite calmly, I thought, yes, we know of her. She founded our order, and you are the first living relatives that we have ever heard from. So this was quite a revelation for them and for us as well. We were about ready to abandon the project of finding out more about my great-grandfather and enter into this journey of finding out more about the founder of this great order, the Missionary Sisters of St. Benedict. So they invited us to come up, and this was 1998, and visit here, which we did, and we began to share family history. That is, the sisters had their own history and some ideas, some of which were correct, some of which we turned out not correct, and the same with us. We shared ideas about the family after they came to the States, and after my mother was born to Teofil and his wife, and my grandmother, and then thence to my family. My grandmother had 8 children. so that we had quite a large family. The Selders family is our family. Do you want to go a little further?
And then we started figuring out all of the connections, and it was just so exciting. We got here and we spread all over a table the letters that we brought and the information that the convent had, and we stayed up very late. We were very excited talking about all of this, sharing information. It was just a very wonderful time for us. It was almost a miracle to have found all of this information, because we had basically given up on being able to trace anything.
Mm-hmm. So that this mention of a nun in Perspicil that Artie found was the tip of the iceberg, if we look at that story, that we had not paid much attention to. We had the letters earlier, and my aunt had the letters, but no one had really noticed, or they looked over this little detail
well, they were looking for the great-great-grandfather.
Right.
That was the interest.
So we've kept in touch at different times. The convent invited me to go along to the pilgrimage to where Mother Jadwiga passed away in Woods. And so in 2006 I joined a bus trip and a van trip to the Ukraine and celebrated that event there. In the meantime, we've dropped into houses in Chicago. Both of us did that. I visited the house in Huntington, Long Island, and briefly the one in Gdansk as well. So we also took the family down to Zakopane to do a little sleuthing, a little investigating on our own of where the mother's sister was at one time. So we've kept up connection with the convent over the years. And then we got this wonderful invitation to come to the 100th anniversary. And we jumped at that, and with the help of the convent in Huntington, we were able to come here for this great celebration and be a part of that. So that is the story of the tip of the iceberg that turned out to be a very great iceberg underneath the ocean, and a wonderful connection to wonderful people here. We've had a tremendous time, and it's very heartwarming, the experiences that we've had here.